Lorenzo,
Thank you.
sometimes in an action film, especially with a lot of action, it can tend to overwhelm sometimes character or story. How do you walk that line and make sure that you're servicing the story with the action and not letting it take over?
Well, it's one of the tricks of it is that, you know, we're trying to entertain everybody, but we're also trying to make it feel as real as possible in a movie like this. And there's a combination of things that take place. One is the actors really have to give it a sense of reality, and the director has to be watching that very carefully so that we can push reality to its most extreme, maybe even a touch over, but it feels like it's grounded. And so there's a lot of attention to detail, to little things that we hired an ex-CIA consultant, for instance, who gave us a lot of great details for Angie's character. And there are things that sort of happen subliminally that you will notice, and then there are things that you will actually notice. And it's that sense of detail which Phillip brings to scale in a movie, which is one of the tricks for, I think, most of the big movies. The hardest trick for the director is to keep the small human being central in these huge action sequences.
It also helps that when you have such brilliant and fine actors as we have. I mean, that's the secret of maintaining interest in an action scene. If you've got interest in the characters, and the character interest is due to the actors.
There's probably no amount of explosions that could overshadow these two actors. That's what I'm guessing, right?
It'd be pretty hard to overshadow.
You have a question?
Yes. I wanted to ask Liev, what is the decision process in doing a stunt or letting the stunt double pursue that stunt?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
You want to know what your decision process is, whether you're going to do a stunt or whether you decide, I'll let the stunt guy do that, I'll back off that one.
No, I didn't. Phillip just said I did everything. I didn't do anything. What's my decision process? How long I'm going to have to sit with my foot in a bucket of ice? Generally, that's one. How much is that going to hurt my back is another one that I think about. Am I going to bump my head or my face in any way? That's another one I think about. Is anything fast coming at me from any direction? That's another one I think about. Are my clothes going to get torn or anything like that is another one I think about. There's a lot of factors that go into me deciding whether or not I'm going to do a stunt.
Do we have another question ready?
Keep going.
Hi, you're back.
Angelina, I think you're awesome, first of all.
Oh, you're so sweet.
I know that you're such a versatile actress, and by reading the script and everything, what made you decide to get this movie, and do you feel like what brought to your, as an actress into your life to continue, with the process?
Well, there's something, it's so hard, as I said, it's hard to explain her because so much of her is a mystery until you see it, and then when you see it, I think it becomes clear why I would choose to do her. But there was a real duplicity to her personality, and there's a part of her that's not necessarily a good guy, and because of certain things that happened to her, as I say, she's a bit damaged. So she's not just heroic, and she's not even, and she's not just brave. There's something a little off about her that and maybe there's a little something off about me, so so it seemed like a good match.
When either of you guys were working with the CIA consultant, did they give you any specific details that you were able to use and internalize in the film?
Well, for me, the most interesting thing is that people, if you work at the CIA, you can't share anything about your work and your life with your family, or your friends. So you become this very, very lonely, isolated individual that has a lot of secrets. And I think it's a very unusual type of person, a very specific type of person that has to do that. And it's a very big sacrifice that these people make, because it's a very lonely life. So I found that really interesting.
Liev, anything you learned?
I had the great good fortune, Naomi is making a film about Valerie playing called Fair Game, and I got to meet Valerie, and I think the question that I had was what motivates someone like to do this job. It turns out they don't get paid a tremendous amount of money, Central Intelligence agents. And what was interesting, talking to Valerie about it, and kind of moving was that there's a level of patriotism functioning there that I don't think many people understand anymore. And I think that's part of what was so tragic about what happened to her. But that was really interesting to me because I certainly hadn't thought about it from that perspective, that these people are really motivated by a legitimate love of country.
That's great. You have a question?
Hi, my name is Liz Torres. This is for Angelina. First of all, Angie, I love you. You're the reason why I'm a theater major now, so thank you for that. Now, my question is, what does this role bring to your acting career? What's the impact that it makes?
What's something new in my acting career?
Yeah, like,
new
what does it bring?
You know, as I said, it's so difficult to speak about her, but it's so unusual to find such a great character, and she has, because when you see the film, her history and her childhood feeds a lot in who she is, and you get to meet her as a child, which is played by wonderful actors, and it was the first time they really feed into who I am, because they're so brilliant and they were so committed that they really helped. We all did the character together, but it's the decisions you make. At the end of the day, I think this film is very much about what you choose to do with your life, where you stand, and what you decide you won't be pushed to do, and your own personal line. And I think that is something that we all have to come to terms with at some point in our life, and you know, take a stand or back away or whatever it might be. And I think no matter what your circumstances are, how you're raised, whatever excuses you have for the pain in your life and the things of the self-destructive nature, whatever it may be, at some point you make this big decision to make your own choices. And she does, and when she does in the film, I was moved by that. I liked what she did, and I liked why she did it.
Go ahead.
I know this part was originally written with the male in mind, and they actually rewrote it specifically for you. And I was wondering, changing the gender of the character, how did that change the story and kind of what went into that?
Maybe Lorenzo, you could address that. Did changing the sex of the lead character change much in the film in your mind?
You know, it was really an interesting exercise for us because there was a big learning process for all of us, I think. You know, we thought at first that the really hard part was going to change the lead character, but that was difficult in some ways. But what was surprising to us was how much it influenced every other character. I think we sort of looked at it almost narrowly at first to say, all right, how do we change it for Angelina? And the truth was, you know, like with Liev's character, how that character relates to a male colleague in a workplace versus a female colleague is very different. And so there was a real snowball effect to the whole script. And the other point of it, I think, which we had some great debate about was, you know, do we expect something different out of a female character than a male character in the situation? And I think the truth is the audience wants the same thing. How the character may go about it is different, what they bring to it is different, but the expectations of the character, of getting from point A to point B, is exactly the same. So I think it was a bit of a learning lesson for all of us. It's that you know, that we can really, it transcends gender, really. And it was a fun exercise. And Angelina's zest for action and violence in movies allowed Phillip and Simon and all of us to take her ideas and apply them in a way that really made it fun for all of us and for the audience.
That's great. Okay, we got time just for a few more questions. Go ahead.
Hi, my question is, what firearms were used during the making?
What firearms did you use?
I mean, it's just about everything by the end of it. I think I got to play with just about everything, including a fire extinguisher in a way I'd never used it.
My favorite is the Super Soaker.
We did, I mean, you know, in most action films, sometimes you have that one gun, but in this one it was kind of like everybody stealing everybody else's gun or picking up things off soldiers, different types of soldiers, different so in the end, there was just a little bit of everything.
And you
But a lot of hand-to-hand combat at the end of the day, and I think that was our weapon of choice, to kind of go down and dirty and just punch each other.
Thanks. Go ahead.
Thank you. My question is for Mr. Schreiber. What sort of specialized fight training or weapons training did you do for this role that may have been different from past action roles that you've done?
I didn't do a lot of special training. I mean, that was pretty much Angie. Angie, every day when we weren't working, was up in the gym training with those guys, fight styles and Krav Maga and Muay Thai and everything, really. I had done, when I got out of school, I did some fight choreography in the theater, and this guy who worked on this film, Simon Crane, was just amazing. And it was really fun. I mean, it was just, he had just incredible ideas. And I think what I liked most about them was that they were feasible, that everything looked like it could happen, and so it was very, I didn't have to do a lot of training for it. I don't have a tremendous amount of violence in the movie, it's just a little bit.
Well, the end result is certainly remarkable, as you can see up on the screen. You can see for yourselves tonight at midnight when Salt opens. It's in theaters everywhere tomorrow. Please come